Welcome the timeless forgotten mystery. In the world's most silent places, where the wind erases footprints within minutes, ancient civilizations once thrived and vanished. From China's colossal unfinished monuments to India's forgotten tombs, the sands of time hide stories that refuse to disappear. These are the silent secrets of the desert, the lost civilizations that time couldn't erase. 1. The Yangshan Quarry, the immovable monument. Deep in the hills of Nanjing, China, lies the Yangshan Quarry, a place that looks less like a construction site and more like the remains of a giant's workshop. Over 600 years ago, Emperor Yongle ordered a massive stone monument to be carved here, a single stele that would honor his rule for eternity. Workers began shaping 3 enormous stone blocks directly from the mountain. Together, they would have weighed over 30,000 tons, heavier than anything modern cranes could move. But the builders soon realized the impossible. The monument was too big to ever be lifted. And so, the work stopped. The stones remain half-carved, frozen in place. A monument to human ambition and its limits. Was it a mistake? Or did they know something we don't? Some believe it was meant to stay. A warning, or perhaps a message carved for the future. The Dolmens of Millennia, India's forgotten tombs. In the quiet valleys of southern India, ancient stone chambers stand hidden among sandalwood forests. Locals call them muniaras, the resting places of sages. But archaeologists know them as dolmens, prehistoric tombs that may be older than the pyramids. Each one is a simple box of giant stone slabs, some with round holes carved into their sides, perhaps for offerings, or for spirits to pass through. No one knows who built them. No inscriptions, no names, no records, only silence. All that remains are these stone rooms that have watched thousands of years pass in stillness. They remind us, not all civilizations left empires. Some left peace and silence that endures forever. 3. The Gantija temples, the place of giants. On the tiny Mediterranean island of Gozo, stand the ruins of temples so old and massive that early people believed giants built them. The Gantija temples are more than 5,000 years old, constructed before metal tools or the wheel existed. Each limestone block weighs as much as 50 tons, yet they were placed with perfect balance and precision. The temples align with the sun and stars, their curves and chambers designed for rituals of life and rebirth. Whoever built them understood both the earth and the sky. There are no written records. No one knows their names. But the stones still speak. Of faith, of knowledge, and of the mystery of creation itself. New Grange, the tomb that welcomes the sun. In the green hills of Ireland lies New Grange, a structure older than Stonehenge and the pyramids. It's a tomb built for the dead, but designed for the light. Once a year, during the winter solstice, the rising sun enters through a small opening above the doorway and illuminates the inner chamber, a room that stays in total darkness the rest of the year. For 17 minutes, light pierces the tomb. Then it's gone, until the next solstice. Thousands of years later, that same sunlight still enters at the exact same angle. The builders had mastered astronomy long before history recorded their names. Their message was simple. That light always returns, even after the longest night. 5. The Hypogeum of Al-Saflieni, the underground mystery. Beneath the streets of Malta lies something even stranger. In 1902, workers digging for a well uncovered a vast underground temple, a labyrinth carved entirely out of solid rock. The Hypogeum of Al-Saflieni is over 5,000 years old, with chambers, stairs, and rooms stacked 3 levels deep. No metal tools were used, yet every wall is smooth, symmetrical, and perfectly designed. In one chamber, the oracle room, a whisper can be heard throughout the entire structure. The acoustics are so precise that low male voices vibrate at a frequency that affects the entire body. Was it a coincidence? Or intentional design? Some believe it was used for rituals, a place where sound itself was sacred. The message of the stones. From Asia to Europe, across islands and deserts, the message is the same. People long forgotten still speak through stone. They didn't write books. They didn't leave words. But they carved something stronger, a message that outlived time. That no matter how small we are, we can leave something behind that endures. The desert may cover their cities. The forests may reclaim their temples. But their voices still echo. In silence, in stone, and in the endless curiosity of those who keep searching. Maybe the greatest secret isn't what they built, but why they built it all. To remind us that even when time erases everything, human wonder never dies. Deep beneath the island of Malta lies something few people even know exists, a place that hums, echoes, and vibrates with a power that science still can't fully explain. It's called the Hypogeum of Al-Saflieni, a subterranean temple carved from solid rock nearly 5,000 years ago. Inside its deepest chamber, the Oracle Room, researchers have found that sound behaves in a way that defies logic. When a human voice speaks at a certain pitch, the entire room seems to come alive, vibrating not just through the air but through the body itself. The effect is physical, sound waves bouncing off the curved walls, resonating through the bones, and creating a sensation that's both eerie and entrancing. This wasn't accidental. Archaeological studies show the design is too precise, the acoustics too intentional. Whoever built this place wasn't just carving a cave, they were tuning an instrument. In the darkness, a whisper could feel like a chorus, a single voice like 100. It's believed the effect could induce a trance-like state, used by priests or shamans in rituals meant to connect the living with the dead. And that's not all. Over 7,000 human remains were found within the temple's chambers. Some bones were painted with red ochre, others arranged in groups as if waiting for something. Among them were elongated skulls unlike any others found in the region, now mysteriously missing from the museum where they once were displayed. Inside the Hypogeum, silence itself feels alive. The deeper you go, the heavier the air becomes. Some visitors say they can feel the chamber's faint vibration in their chest, like the walls are breathing. Was this a temple for death or rebirth? The shapes of the rooms resemble a womb, the architecture echoing cycles of life, sound, and shadow. To stand there is to stand between worlds, where stone remembers and the earth still whispers secrets time tried to bury. Thousands of miles away, hidden deep in the jungles of Colombia, another lost world waits, La Ciudad Perdida, the lost city. Shrouded in mist and guarded by mountains, it remained untouched for over 1,000 years. To reach it, you trek for days through the rainforest, climbing 1,200 stone steps hand-carved into the mountain. It's older than Machu Picchu and every bit as mysterious. Built around 800 AD by the Tairona people, the city's terraces, plazas, and stone paths seem to pulse with life. The local tribes, the Kogi, Ahuako, and Wiwa, never lost the memory of this sacred place. They call it Tauna, the heart of the world. They believe it's alive, that its stones, rivers, and terraces are part of a spiritual network connecting humans and nature. The city wasn't built for conquest or trade. It was built for balance, a cosmic alignment between the physical and the spiritual. The Kogi still guard it to this day, asking archaeologists not to excavate further, believing the city must remain half-hidden to preserve its energy. When you walk through La Ciudad Perdida, you feel it. The stillness, the hum of the forest, the sense that this isn't a ruin, it's a living memory. Across the sea, in southern Spain, sits another silent marvel, the Dolmen of Menga. At first glance, it's just a grassy mound. But step inside, and you find one of Europe's oldest and most mysterious stone chambers, built thousands of years before the pyramids. Massive sandstone blocks, each weighing over 100 tons, form a long passage leading into the earth. At the end lies a hidden well carved deep into the rock. No human remains were ever found here. No treasures, no markings, only silence and precision. What makes it even stranger is its alignment. Unlike other megalithic sites, it doesn't face the solstice sun. Instead, it points directly at a distant mountain shaped like a sleeping man, La Pina de los Enamorados, the Lover's Rock. Was this a tomb? A ritual site? Or something deeper, a meeting place between earth, water, and sky? No one knows. All that remains is the stillness, heavy and ancient, as if time itself lingers beneath the stones. In Japan's Nara Prefecture rests a monolith that defies explanation, Masuda no Iwafune, the rock ship of Masuda. A single block of granite the size of a small house, perfectly carved and balanced, yet seemingly purposeless. 2 rectangular holes are cut into the top, too clean to be natural, too meaningless to explain. It's not part of a temple or a tomb. It's not aligned with stars or graves. It simply sits there, silent, precise, and eternal. No one knows who made it, or why. Some think it was a fragment of a forgotten civilization. Others believe it was a celestial marker. But perhaps it doesn't need an explanation. Maybe the mystery is the message, a reminder that not everything ancient needs to be understood. Sometimes, the stone just is. Then there is Tia, in Ethiopia, a quiet field dotted with upright stones carved with strange symbols. Swords, circles, plants, eyes, marks of a people long vanished, their language lost, their meaning forgotten. Beneath some of the stones lie burials, perhaps warriors, perhaps guardians. No one knows. The carvings are deliberate, elegant, and haunting. They whisper of a culture that understood honor, life, and death in ways we've forgotten. And finally, high on the Golan Heights in Israel lies one of the oldest stone circles on earth, Rujem El Hiri, the Circle of the Wildcat. From the air, it looks like a massive bullseye, 5 concentric rings of basalt rock, over 40,000 stones carefully arranged more than 5,000 years ago. On the summer solstice, sunlight aligns perfectly through its eastern passage, striking the heart of the circle. It may have been an ancient observatory, a calendar etched into the land itself. But no one can say for sure. Standing there, surrounded by wind and silence, you realize the truth. Humanity's past isn't a straight line. It's a series of echoes, civilizations that rose, thrived, and vanished, leaving behind stone reminders that refuse to fade. These are not just ruins. They are messages. Silent, patient, and eternal, whispering that even in the desert, the jungle, the mountain, and the sky, time remembers what we've forgotten. The ground beneath your feet doesn't feel like earth. It feels like a pathway, as if you're moving through a maze or a ritual journey. Could it have been a ceremonial site, a place where people came not just to observe the sun, but to feel its cycles, to mark time not with numbers, but through motion, space, and experience? The name Rujem El Hiri is only one of many. In Hebrew, it's called Gilgal Rephaim, the Wheel of the Giants. Some legends connect it to the ancient giants mentioned in biblical texts. Others whisper stories of spirits, curses, or civilizations that vanished before recorded history. But as with many sites that predate writing, all that remains is stone, space, and silence. Archaeologists have studied Rujem El Hiri for decades, yet their reports return with more questions than answers. Why build it here, on this flat plateau in the Golan Heights? The basalt stones are heavy and hard to move, yet tens of thousands were stacked, shaped, and aligned with astonishing precision. Whoever built this knew exactly what they were doing. Some believe it was a burial site, not just for bodies, but for beliefs, for cycles. Others think it had an acoustic purpose, designed so that voices or chants from the center would echo in deliberate harmony. No inscriptions were left behind. No tools. No signs of daily life. Just the stones and the sky. The local tribes, the Kogi, Ahuako, and Wiwa, never lost the memory of this sacred place. They call it Tauna, the heart of the world. They believe it's alive, that its stones, rivers, and terraces are part of a spiritual network connecting humans and nature. The city wasn't built for conquest or trade. It was built for balance, a cosmic alignment between the physical and the spiritual. The Kogi still guard it to this day, asking archaeologists not to excavate further, believing the city must remain half-hidden to preserve its energy. When you walk through La Ciudad Perdida, you feel it. The stillness. The hum of the forest. The sense that this isn't a ruin, it's a living memory. Across the sea, in southern Spain, sits another silent marvel, the Dolmen of Menga. At first glance, it's just a grassy mound. But step inside, and you find one of Europe's oldest and most mysterious stone chambers, built thousands of years before the pyramids. Massive sandstone blocks, each weighing over 100 tons, form a long passage leading into the earth. At the end lies a hidden well carved deep into the rock. No human remains were ever found here. No treasures, no markings, only silence and precision. What makes it even stranger is its alignment. Unlike other megalithic sites, it doesn't face the solstice sun. Instead, it points directly at a distant mountain shaped like a sleeping man, La Pina de los Enamorados, the Lover's Rock. Was this a tomb? A ritual site? Or something deeper, a meeting place between earth, water, and sky? No one knows. All that remains is the stillness, heavy and ancient, as if time itself lingers beneath the stones. High in the Bolivian plateau, another enigma stretches across 22,000 square kilometers, the Sahama Lines. Thousands of perfectly straight lines etched into the desert, running for hundreds of kilometers across mountains, rivers, and valleys. They are too straight to be natural and too vast to be accidental. Some say they were ritual paths connecting sacred sites. Others believe they were astronomical markers or even messages to the sky. The indigenous Aymara people speak of wakas, sacred places joined by these lines in ceremonial walks. Each line was made simply by clearing the dark stones on the surface, revealing the pale soil beneath. It's so precise that even today, with satellites, their vast pattern seems incomprehensible. Perhaps they were walked in silence as a form of devotion, a meditation in motion. Whatever their meaning, they endure, vast, mysterious, untouched by time. And then, in northern Italy's Val Camonica, lies a different kind of message, not built, but carved. Across the valley's rocks, 140,000 petroglyphs tell the story of an ancient mind. Humans, animals, spirals, stars, strange geometric forms, a silent record spanning 8,000 years. Each generation added to the stones, layering their lives and symbols atop those before. Some carvings seem like agricultural scenes or celestial maps, others eerily resemble modern technology, figures with helmets, antenna-like shapes, and what look like machines. Scientists debate whether these are spiritual visions, early calendars, or simply misunderstood symbols. Whatever they are deliberate, carved to last, to be seen. To walk through Val Camonica is to step into a conversation across millennia, messages written without words, still whispering through the rock. Like the Dolmens, the Menhi, the Sahama lines, and Gunung Padang, these carvings remind us that the earth remembers more than we do. Beneath every stone, in every silence, lies a story waiting to be heard. Val Camonica, Italy. No one knows who built them, or how. Some think they were tombs. Others believe they were altars, calendars, or sky markers. Yet the stones stand still, balanced, aligned, patient. When archaeologists uncovered a few, they found pottery, tools, and bones. But the questions only deepened. What culture built this? How could they have lifted such immense stones with no metal tools or written language? Perhaps these dolmens were messages, giant bookmarks of memory, left by a people who believed stone could speak longer than words. And then there's Avebury in England, older and larger than Stonehenge, a stone circle so vast it contains an entire village within it. For centuries, its true purpose has eluded us. Worship, astronomy, ritual, no one knows. Standing there, surrounded by ancient stones that seem almost alive, you realize something. These places weren't meant to be explained. They were meant to be felt. The stones don't speak in language, they speak in silence. And sometimes, that silence says more than words ever could. There's a strange stillness that settles over the dolmens of the North Caucasus, a silence that feels intentional, as if the stones themselves are holding their breath. To stand before one is to wonder who stood here before, what hands carved this, and what lives passed through that doorway into eternity. The dolmens are scattered from the Black Sea coastlines to the inland mountains. Their designs are strikingly similar, suggesting a shared cultural memory, but their purpose remains unconfirmed. Some say they were tombs for elders, others believe they were ceremonial chambers for rituals now lost to time. Some even think they were aligned to capture the light of solstices or track the stars through their portals. Inside, archaeologists have found skeletal remains, often multiple generations together, along with pottery, tools, beads, and other offerings. These were not just tombs. They were places of memory, of gathering, of connection between the living and the dead. Each dolmen is small, enclosed, and perfectly shaped. The stones fit so precisely that you can't slide a blade between them, built without mortar, only skill and geometry. Yet the stones used are not found naturally nearby, meaning they were quarried and transported across rough terrain, sometimes uphill. This reveals a level of planning, labor, and engineering far more advanced than we once believed these prehistoric builders possessed. No written records or inscriptions accompany them. Only the stones remain, silent but deliberate. Some dolmens stand alone in clearings, others in clusters or circles, like gatherings of forgotten voices. The most haunting thing about them is not their age, but their quiet defiance against time. They simply exist, as if waiting. When you stand beside one at night, the wind moving softly through the trees, you can almost feel that ancient presence, not fear, but remembrance. The dolmens remind us that not everything powerful needs to shout. Some truths are carved in silence. In Brittany, France, there stands another silent witness, the Menhi of Champ Dolent. A single stone, over 9 meters tall, towers over the soft green fields, older than any church, any home, any kingdom that followed. The locals call it the Field of Sorrow. Legend says it appeared during a violent quarrel between two brothers. A blinding light split the sky, planting the stone between them as a divine warning. Some believe it rises slightly each year, and that when it disappears entirely, the world will end. Others come simply to touch it, to feel the hum of time beneath their hands. The granite isn't local, meaning it was moved and raised by people thousands of years ago, long before modern tools. Its perfect balance and placement suggest a purpose, maybe astronomical, maybe spiritual. Even Christianity couldn't erase its presence. A faint cross was once carved into its side, now worn smooth. As the sun sets and the crickets sing, the stone feels alive, as though listening. It predates nations, myths, and memory, a wordless monument to time itself. Far across the world, in Indonesia, lies another mystery, Gunung Padang, the mountain that shouldn't exist. From a distance, it looks like an ordinary green hill. But beneath the soil lies what many believe is the world's oldest known megalithic site, a terrace pyramid possibly over 20,000 years old. When researchers used ground-penetrating radar in 2011, they discovered layers of carved stone, hidden chambers, and geometric structures deep beneath the surface. If true, this would rewrite human history, proving that people long before Egypt or Mesopotamia were building monumental architecture. The basalt stones, precisely stacked in terraces, align like a giant puzzle. Some scientists dismiss it as a natural formation, but the evidence of design and intention is undeniable. Gunung Padang feels like a memory carved into the earth, proof that civilization may have begun far earlier than we ever imagined. The Dolmens of Malaya, India's forgotten tombs. In the quiet valleys of southern India, ancient stone chambers stand hidden among sandalwood forests. Locals call them muniaras, the resting places of sages. But archaeologists know them as dolmens, prehistoric tombs that may be older than the pyramids. Each one is a simple box of giant stone slabs, some with round holes carved into their sides, perhaps for offerings, or for spirits to pass through. No one knows who built them. No inscriptions, no names, no records, only silence. All that remains are these stone rooms that have watched thousands of years pass in stillness. They remind us, not all civilizations left empires. Some left peace, and silence that endures forever. 3. The Gantija Temples, the place of giants. On the tiny Mediterranean island of Gozo, stand the ruins of temples so old and massive that early people believed giants built them. The Gantija temples are more than 5,000 years old, constructed before metal tools or the wheel existed. Each limestone block weighs as much as 50 tons, yet they were placed with perfect balance and precision. The temples align with the sun and stars, their curves and chambers designed for rituals of life and rebirth. Whoever built them understood both the earth and the sky. There are no written records. No one knows their names. But the stones still speak. Of faith, of knowledge, and of the mystery of creation itself. Contains over 140,000 ancient rock carvings dating back thousands of years. The images show humans, animals, tools, and mysterious symbols, possibly calendars, rituals, or celestial maps. Some carvings resemble modern-looking figures or machines, fueling speculation about ancient knowledge or contact. Represents one of humanity's earliest attempts to record existence, stories written in stone. 2. The Stone Head of Guatemala. A gigantic stone face found deep in the Guatemalan jungle, unlike known Mayan or Olmec art. Its European-like features and perfect proportions puzzled researchers. The head was reportedly destroyed during civil unrest, leaving only old photographs as evidence. Some suggest it could point to a lost civilization predating known Mesoamerican cultures. 3. Túcume, Peru. Known as the Valley of the Pyramids, home to 26 massive adobe pyramids built by the Lambaic culture. Believed to be a ceremonial and spiritual center rather than a city of the living. Local legends speak of curses and divine punishment for entering sacred areas. The pyramid's alignment and scale suggest advanced social and engineering skills. 4. Dolmens of Shiroishi, Japan. Massive stone tombs scattered across Japan's landscape. Built without mortar, precisely fitted, and aligned with the sun, similar to European dolmens thousands of miles away. Suggests a shared global ancient knowledge of astronomy and stone engineering. Serve as enduring symbols of reverence for ancestors and cosmic balance. 5. Dun Ayonghasa, Ireland. A colossal prehistoric stone fort perched on the cliffs of the Aran Islands. Its half-circle design faces the sea, possibly a ceremonial or defensive site. Archaeologists debate whether it was a fortress, temple, or astronomical observatory. The site reflects the mystical blend of nature, ritual, and survival in Celtic prehistory. 6. Tarxian Temples, Malta. Megalithic temple complex dating back over 5,000 years, older than the pyramids. Rich with spiral carvings, altars, and statues of fertility goddesses. Possibly served as centers of worship, seasonal ceremony, and burial. Showcases a high level of architectural and symbolic sophistication, evidence of a forgotten civilization of builders. Overall theme. Across continents, from Europe to Asia to the Americas, these ancient sites share astonishing craftsmanship, astronomical precision, and spiritual intent. Though separated by oceans and millennia, they whisper the same truth. Humanity has built, believed, and dreamed far longer, and far deeper, than our history remembers.